Okay, so I just made a video about how to deal with being single, and I had this idea that I'll basically make another video, which is a different section of the channel, about dreams. Because when I don't know, started this channel, I didn't know what it was going to be, blah blah blah, and one of the things which has appealed to me has been also talking about all these emotional stuff, but also talking about tarot cards. I did a video about that, and I'll do another one soon at some point. But yeah, I think I want to do a section about dream analysis as well, because I think what me and my girlfriend do, and a friend of mine also do, is every now and then when we do dream, we discuss it with each other, and I think it's really fun analyzing a particular dream and seeing the kind of deeper underlying meanings which it holds. I have no expertise in this. I haven't even read a book on this. I've just talked about this with people, and I just like playing along with this. So I'm just gonna do a video about that. I'll explain a dream of mine which I had, and then I'll maybe talk about what I think of it and see what you guys think of it. And yeah, let's just see how it goes. So this is the part of the section where I'm talking about dreams now and dream analysis. So I don't even know what dream I'm going to talk about really. I have a couple of them. Some of them are pretty dark. I don't know if I should start off with that, or if I should start off with one which is a bit more chill and a bit more lighter. One which I mentioned to my parents and siblings on Skype is the one which I feel drawn to kind of mentioning right now. So I'll just do that. And basically in this particular dream, what I experienced was a sense of deep meaning. So what I found was that I was in this place, and as I'm doing this, maybe you remember a dream of yours which you have, and if you do, share it with people you know, share it below if you want, I don't know, in the comment section. And yeah, just feel free to share it and see what other people think of it. I don't know. But okay, so yeah, so this is a dream which I had a few weeks ago, and I still remember it because it was quite vivid. I was in this place, and it was like this hall, and also next to this hall was this large kitchen, and my mum was there and my sister was there, and they were basically prepping food for guests to come because they were going to have a lot of guests. It was almost seemed like a huge number of people who were going to be there. I think it was like 50 people or something like that who were going to be there, and my dad was away. And so the responsibility was placed on me to go and entertain these hosts, these guests. And in my mind, basically, what I thought was that I'll have to entertain these guests and it's going to suck because I'll have to wear a mask in front of them. I'll have to pretend to be someone who I'm not in front of them. But now I can do that. That's what I was thinking. Because before I would have hated that and I didn't have the ability to do that. Now I can do that. So I went there. And I just started talking to these people, and there was this man who was wearing like the traditional shalwar kameez, which is like this Pakistani traditional dress, or clothing, and he had a moustache and he was a bit overweight, and he just seemed like a bad guy, like not a great guy who I'd be interested in talking to. But I was talking to him, and I was exchanging niceties, and I could do it perfectly well. And a part of me was like, this is cool, you can do this. And there was an element of like pride there. And then I went back and I saw my mum and my sister, and I kind of gave my sister a hug just to like kind of like acknowledgement and being there. And then there's a part of me which kind of told me to kind of walk away from that. And that was very interesting as well, because I think that represented how I was feeling about our relationship at the time, which was kind of close, but a part of me wanting to distance myself. And I think that particular piece which had an emotional resonance there is one to like further examine. That's what I thought at the time, you know. So maybe if you have a dream and something, if when you think about that dream and it evokes an emotional response in you, maybe that's the thing which you could basically explore further, essentially. I haven't explored that bit further. Well, I have explored it as a result of exploring lots of other things, and I think I've come to terms with that element. But I'm not going to talk about that right now in this video. And then I went into this hall after I'd hugged my sister, but not for too long, and like, it meant that there was some part of me which was feeling a distance there when I kind of drew away from her, and that was quite interesting to examine. There's an element of fear or discomfort or worry, and I think that was something which was worth examining and probing and playing with, you know, and seeing what that was about. And I think I have to do a bit more of that actually, regarding that particular thing. So again, just a bit of thing for reflection, I suppose. Then I went back into this hall, and the hall kind of cleared, but there were still lots of people there. And I remember seeing this guy who reminded me of this guy I used to know who was on the spectrum when I was in school. And he was a family friend, but this guy I saw, he was kind of engaging a little bit better than the guy who I used to know back in school. But in some weird way, I had an association between those two. And then he came to me, and I kind of felt a sense of relief just by seeing him. And I think this guy represents someone who I've become friends with recently, who is a bit of an outsider and who likes things, who thinks about these things, the things kind of I like thinking about, and engages in that particular way of dialogue. And so I think me seeing that person was a representation of this person who's come into my life recently, relatively recently. And this guy I saw, and he represented to me like an outsider, but he was so happy and he had so much energy and life and light about him, you know. And I felt immediately drawn to him, and he recognized me, and he kind of smiled and he kind of came over, and then we started talking, and then he showed me this thing which was like this huge pamphlet he had of things he'd written, like his thoughts which he'd had, and they'd been published, and he was like, yeah, I've been thinking about this and I've been publishing this. And he said this to me, which was that, you know, you can be an outsider and still be happy. And so for the longest of times I felt that I was someone who was outside of this world and you couldn't connect with this world. And I felt really bad about myself as a result of that, you know. And sorry, that was a dramatic looking up at the camera. But no, I did feel bad about myself as a result of that, and still do at times. And I'm sure everyone does to an extent. And he kind of came to me and he was like, it's okay, you can be you. And it was so loving and accepting. And to an extent, I suppose, maybe this person who's actually come into my life has taught me that it's okay, and he kind of gives me that sense of being accepted, which is an amazing thing. And then I kind of walked out with this person, and I was being hard on myself about something, and he said, you know, you don't need to be hard on yourself, you don't need to judge yourself, you can just be you. And I was like, I'm scared. And he said that there's some aspect of you which wants to explore, and again, I'm going to stop judging myself, which wants to explore. And I was like, yeah, I do want to explore. And then I kind of felt being lifted up, above and above and above, higher and higher and higher. And I could see, like, basically I was like on this hill, and I could, which is kind of here where I live, and basically close by. And I don't like going up here because I'm kind of a bit scared of heights, but I was there and I was lifting even higher, and I could see everything below me, and I felt this rush of excitement and freedom. And then I woke up, and the dream had so much meaning to me because I think it was an aspect of I think usually when we dream, some aspect of us is being figured out, essentially. And to me, that dream just felt like a hug. It was such a positive dream because it said that it's okay to be me, you know, it's okay to be you, and you can still be happy, which is such an amazing message. And then there's this element with my sister, which I've kind of examined a bit, but not fully. So I guess this is an example of a dream I had. I shared this, and I guess in the process of doing it, maybe gave you some insight into how you could interpret dreams. I don't know if I have done that or not, but anyway, I just wanted to post that, so I'm doing it, and I hope you enjoyed this. And do share your dreams if you have any, and I would love to like analyze it if possible, you know. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah.